Check, check, check. I'm good.
Hello.
Do it again.
Hello.
All right,
hey, everybody.
Do it in a real human
All right, seriously,
accent,
folks.
though.
It's nice to be here. Nice to be talking into this microphone.
It is really nice to have you here, James. And I'm going to say this. You were such a good host. You did such a good job this weekend. I know I'm not. You're a very good comic.
I'll tell you
that,
about the moment that I felt like I let it down.
Please do.
The four men stood up together to go to the restroom, and it did not occur to me that they were going for cocaine.
You could have called out the cocaine thing.
Would have been super funny.
Oh, yeah. People would have canonized you in that moment.
I didn't know. I haven't done enough cocaine in groups. I've done no cocaine with groups of men or on my own.
What did Well, I'm glad you're not doing it by yourself. That's how the bug bites.
Is that a bad sign?
Oh, yeah. That's how you know you get the tick under your skin.
I love to drink alone. That's really where I do my best drinking.
No.
Yes. You get a big bottle of spirits, you stay up late, play chess on your phone, watch the ranking collapse.
You're drinking grain alcohol and playing phone chess.
Have done.
Into oblivion.
Many such evenings.
Really?
Kids are in bed. Mm-hmm. It's been a rough day.
Yeah.
My wife's tired. She's in bed.
Oh, yeah.
It would be nice to share a drink together.
But she doesn't want one.
Well, she's asleep, but she can handle it.
Huh.
This isn't something that I need.
No. And I mean,
But,
I don't really drink alone. I never
great
liked
fun.
drinking alone. I do smoke weed by myself. That's fun.
I never smoke marijuana.
I know. And that's fine. That's okay.
I fear it.
I think I've drank alone one time, and it was due to heartbreak. I was dejected. I literally dropped a girl off, and she said, "Hey, we've been having fun. Thanks for taking me to midnight movies, putting your arm around me and honking my boob. I love that."
Yeah.
I love how after our first date, you started keeping your hand on my thigh and just slowly
under
working
control.
it up higher and higher until I said, "That's enough." But I don't think it's going to work out. And I said, "Hey, big deal, toots. Who cares? There's a lot of fucking fish in the pantry, and I'm a pelican. I'm going to eat it all."
You drank alone?
And she shut the door. She got out of the car, and then as I was driving home, I was weeping and screaming, "You fucking idiot!
Yeah, nice.
You're so stupid!"
At yourself?
At myself.
Wow.
Yeah, you're so stupid. How did you not see it coming?
Yeah.
All these things, and I went and I got a 30 rack of Keystone Light, 30 beers,
Oh,
and I think I drank. I know I drank more than half of it.
that's not so bad.
No.
That's with 15 standard drinks with a lot of sugar and water thrown.
Yeah, but I probably drank 22 of them.
The number changed.
And I was smoking cigarettes in my bed. It's the only time I've ever fallen asleep smoking.
How old were you when this happened?
I was like 19, 20.
That's a beautiful. You can only have that once or twice.
I mean, I'm glad I only had it that one time.
Yeah. No, you've got it coming.
I think these kids don't want to get their heart broken.
I believe that. That's why they don't catch feelings. It's quite nice to have your heart broken.
Well, lames catch feelings. We catch flights. Jet life.
I see it now in the touring comedian. The lifestyle that for many, not all, but many, that makes it doable. Because you're in a. I mean, this is a very nice room that they've put you up in.
Oh yeah,
But you're often
we're in an ivory castle.
beautiful room.
We're in the setting of a Paul Auster
But often
novel.
you're in a very sad hotel room.
Yeah,
I don't
Red
know
Roof
Paul
Inn.
Auster, so I have to move past it.
That's okay.
And,
You're at the New York
and one
trilogy.
is alone,
Uh-huh.
almost all the time.
Oh yeah.
And so of course people have sex with all the waitresses.
Oh, of course. The waitresses love it too.
Yes,
Oh God.
the waitresses have seen you be successful in front of them.
And they know you're leaving in 48 hours.
Other than the fact that it's wrong, it's just win all around.
I mean, it used to just be an orgy of decadence. Being a stand-up comic in the
the fear
80s and
got
the
into
90s.
People got afraid of being cancelled for all their terrible sexual unpleasantness.
Yeah, for banging a lady. I remember when banging a lady was cool.
Not anymore. No. Lady is gay.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do to a lady.
I take my marriage seriously.
I do too. That's why I love you. It's fun to watch you interact with people because it's kind of like being able to watch myself interact with people in a way. Because you have such a way with words, and you're not afraid to use your vocabulary, and you say things succinctly and directly. And I like to think that I do that in conversation when I'm not on,
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like holding up a mirror to myself, watching you.
I don't feel like this is working for me, but I appreciate it.
No? I'm so infinitely charmed by
I don't
you.
think the chat has helped me very often in this business. I can think of real doors that the chat closes.
Like what?
Oh, every Australian door.
Oh, yeah?
Just, man, I turned so many people against me. I was a young man starting comedy, so I was mean.
Yeah, we
I don't know
started
if
at
I've
the same
discussed
age.
this. Well, I was very, you're not good, you should quit.
Oh,
what
to
are you
people?
doing up there? Why are you running this comedy festival so badly? Why would you run the biggest comedy? Why would you be in charge of the biggest comedy festival in the world and suck? is a conversation that I had on my 4th gig, I think, after placing in their big comedy competition. It was a shock that they didn't want to have me back.
Was this Melbourne?
This was Melbourne.
Wow. 4th gig, you win the contest.
I was in the field. I didn't even get runner-up.
Still, you were in the field.
Yeah.
I was the grass is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep the big...
You
big
couldn't
mouth shut.
curtail your fucking vocabulary.
I thought people would want to hear what I had to say.
Yeah.
And life is a long journey of finding out where they do and where they do not.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it forever. For a long time, I was just being like, oh, that's wild, bro. You know, like I dumbed myself down purposely because I didn't want to come off as pretentious. But due to the fact that you're foreign, it's cool.
I mean, Americans don't like pretentiousness at all.
No, we abhor it.
And I'm thinking about why that is. I think it's because you have a serious role in the world. You have to run the world, and you are happy to fall into certain kinds of decadence, sexual...
Depravity?
Sure. Depravity, not a problem. If anything, that keeps you violent.
Yeah.
It keeps the soul unstable. So the Romans did this, of course.
What? They got into the depths of horse fuckery to keep themselves honest?
I believe there are some terrible murals that survive to this day, so that they're able to have great civilization and great violence. This is the great trick. That you've got to keep those two things together if you're going to have a global empire. But you can't have frippery, and you can't have infantilization. And there is no... I got very drunk this week and started to...
You brought this up the other night, and I was infinitely interested.
All right.
Go off, King.
British comedians, they treat the audience like children. Not all of them, but that is... When people talk about absurd British comedy, it's often like a silly voice or a little movement. John Cleese doing a funny walk.
It's a man with a lollipop, and he's hitting another man over the head while they're kneeling in their shoes.
Ken Dodd is literally tickling members of the audience.
Really?
He would have a little feather duster. He'd go and tickle the front row. He'd be like, "You think you're safe up the back?" And then he'd go and get an enormous feather duster of 10 foot and tickle people in like the 5th row.
And he was doing this to success?
People loved it. He was one of the most successful British... He's also very funny.
Ken Blob?
Ken Dodd. I think I'm getting this right. And his opening line, he would come out and he would say, he would just be like a club show in the middle. He goes, "Well, I suppose you're wondering why I've called you all here this evening."
That's good.
It's great. But it's all silly little... Because the English can have that because they've lost their empire and they just have to pass the time.
Yeah, and their stiff upper lip is allowed to bow
Yes.
when they're paying for the privilege.
That's what they have to do in their own time, you know.
Yeah, when they're off the governess's clock. You know, when they're done sweeping out the chimneys and eating their eel pies.
It's the upper class as well. They all like to be treated like little children.
Yeah.
But the American audiences are
Well, here you
furious.
grow up, you go work in a factory at 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no NHS that's going to save you eventually.
Right, yeah, your foreman takes you to a whorehouse when you're 14 so you can pop your
Become
V
a
with
man.
a pro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you go fucking back to the foundry.
Sex, too, is a kind of work. Everything must be reduced to labor.
The way I do it, it's not.
You're an amateur sexual...
I'm always swinging by the office, if you know. I'm just checking emails when I'm in there. Yeah.
Sex is... everything is reduced to labor and work here. It's good. In many ways, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't want to be down about it.
No,
But
I think you
find
love
that
America.
funny. I love America. I
Yeah.
find it interesting who Americans think are ulti-comics.
Yeah.
Who would be so far to the club side of the spectrum in a country with the king.
Like, who do you think that would be? Because I came from alt rooms.
Yes.
That's why Shane often makes fun of me. Shane used to call me when he'd be like headlining the like Albany Funny Bone, and he'd be like, "How was the fucking bookstore show?" Beep 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 beep. You know. And I like wasn't in a bookstore. I'd be at the Looney Bin in Wichita. You know. But due to the
Looney
fact that I
Bin is
came
not a bad
from,
name.
no, it's not. It was I mean they put me in an insane asylum.
I would say, it was Steve Martin. We got Dimitri Martin in Australia, and he was very, very mainstream.
Martin Lawrence was big.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then they tried to kill him.
I know.
He had to run down the street.
He was too brave.
I mean, who is like a silly emo?
Phillips.
Phillips would be as close to a British comedian that you had, I would think. Oh, hello, everybody. That feels like that could be a Little Britain character.
Yeah.
My goodness me. You do, I mean, children's entertainers are allowed to do it. Pee Wee Herman was allowed to do it.
Yeah, but he was doing it for hipsters. That Pee Wee show started like
Right.
a Largo situation in L.A. where like Lawrence Fishburne and like Guns N' Roses would come and see him do this postmodern kids show live.
I didn't know this at all.
Oh yeah, it started as like a cool like outsider comedy event, and then they were like, "How can we monetize this?" oh, we'll put it out for children. And all the subversion that he was capitalizing on was kind of washed away by capitalist need.
Is he doing with the cardigan a sort of Mr. Rogers
I believe so.
Bizarro thing? That's great.
Yeah. I mean, my dad loved Pee-wee. My Uncle Tom, I think, was like 23 when I was born, and some of my earliest memories are sitting there with my Uncle Tom. He's fucking dying, drinking a beer, smoking inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only seen Pee-wee on Conan. I haven't seen anything outside of that.
So have you just seen Paul Rubens, or have you seen Pee-wee do Pee-wee?
I think he would come on sometimes as Pee-wee.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
After he got caught wanking his own pud.
Well, is that a crime in this country?
No, I mean, him and Fred Willard got away with it.
It's very funny to
Remember
think of
Fred?
Willard doing that. Oh, no!
Oh, hey!
I never thought about it.
Hey-o!
I didn't know that happened to Fred Willard. Poor
Yeah.
sweet Fred.
Oh, yeah, Fred and his wife got busted at a jerk-off
And
theater.
his wife?
Yeah, I think
That's
so. Yeah.
Really, if you're going to do it together. The end of Best in Show.
It wasn't a blind prostitute.
No, I didn't think it was.
Yeah, because you really have to hand it to him.
Although that would be very.
That was one of Fred Willard's jokes. Yeah.
He did
You know
jokes
what
about
they
that,
say
hadn't he?
about blind prostitutes? You really got to hand it to him.
I didn't know he was a stand-up.
He wasn't, but I think that was actually in one of the lesser guest films. Anyway, Best in Show. Go off.
Oh no, just the ending is perfect. That it's an hour of people taking dogs very seriously.
Yes.
Followed by a dog show hosted for 30 minutes by a man who doesn't know what's
A
happening.
thing about dogs. Sitting there with a very stiff, upper-lipped Briton who's trying to play by the rules. How many push-ups do you think I could do?
And then that's stolen by so many movies after. Semi-Pro is doing a similar thing. Dodgeball has a similar thing happening.
Yeah, with the Ocho. Is that Bateman?
It is Bateman.
Yeah. He was excellent in that
That's
role.
really the most range that Bateman ever uses. He's the same character in everything else except there.
Yeah, when they frosted his tips, he was a brand new man.
He was very good.
Yes.
Underused.
Yeah, no, I think that... have you heard about when they filmed Best in Show with Willard?
Not a thing.
So they would just let the camera run.
Yeah.
They just had Fred
Like
set up.
Brando at the end
That's
of
right. Yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, the horror. And they would just let Fred roll, and they had like 3 hours allotted for that scene.
Yeah.
But Fred was killing so fucking hard, it took like 12 hours. It was like the sun rose and went down, and he's still over there goofing.
They must have that.
Oh, they do.
You must be
yeah.
able to see the
Yeah, yeah.
extended.
Fred Willard was one of the few. It was like that was one of the biggest celebrity deaths where I was like, God damn, the world got a little bit brighter because Fred's dead.
Brighter because Fred's dead?
Yeah, it got a little. A little less brighter.
I
A
thought
little
you were
less
doing
bright.
A long thing.
No.
Now that Fred's dead, suddenly there's room for the rest of us to shine.
Yeah, now I can be the whack pack dingbat.
He's
Cleveland.
no. To think that city gave you the great Steve Harvey
Yes.
and Fred Willard.
And they were best friends in the Navy.
That's not true.
You're right. Can you imagine that though?
I don't think Steve Harvey was in the armed forces.
Hey,
He'd talk about it
Steve,
all the time.
I've been ironing your suit, and it seems to be getting a little small. And he holds up like a baby suit, and Steve's like, "Fred, you got another one."
That's a camera turn. What?
Yeah, I forgot you're enamored with Steve Harvey.
The greatest talent to lowest level of respect in the comedy industry of anyone I've ever encountered. Steve Harvey is astonishing. People don't listen to the albums.
No.
The albums are great.
Oh yeah.
Don't trip. He ain't through with me yet.
Yeah.
And of course, still tripping.
Yeah.
That's the follow-up. Oh, he opens the show by coming out. He goes, everyone's applauding. He comes in and he goes, I want to tell you what God means to me. I love God. And like everyone's cheering.
Yeah.
He goes, God is the most beautiful thing to me. But I'm going to say some things tonight that make you question that. And then they...
Yeah. Some guy comes swinging in on a rope. Like, black crowds go crazy.
Look, Austin doesn't have a black room.
This is your main
This
pursuit.
is my pie in the sky. Mm-hmm. I talked to my wife about this, and she said, James, if you want a black room in Austin, you can't be the one to start it.
I said that today during football.
They have a history of that here.
Yeah.
Motown.
Yeah.
I'm one of the Jews running Chess Records. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you don't want that to be your business plan.
Didn't they?
when you
Didn't
go,
they help everyone? Didn't everyone love those men?
Oh yeah, they really shared the wealth. That was trickle down economics.
I don't want to make $1 from it. I just want to perform in a black room again.
I know, but you can't be the one who builds the black room.
How do I get people to have a little more gumption and do it on their own?
Well, you got to talk to Jen and Ron and Buffet.
I just call a meeting of all the Austin blacks.
Yeah,
get together.
We're doing a black roundup. Show yourselves, blacks.
there's a solemn task given
Yeah.
to you to make it so I can perform to your audience.
Yeah, well, then they have to, and then, well, Adam Egget told us today his great story about Danny Brown's show that he wanted to start.
Yeah.
Danny Brown told Adam, I want to run a show here. And Adam was like, okay. And Danny's like, yeah, we can call it Beep Night Wednesdays. And the beep, of course, stands for the tattoo on James's thigh. Beep Night Wednesday. And Adam Egget pauses and he says, can we get rid of night?
It's beautiful. They should, if Beep Wednesdays could get going on
Oh, it'd be
at
big.
the mothership.
Yeah. I mean, that would be transgressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Live
great.
at the Apollo rides again. I don't know if they're still doing Live at the Apollo.
I can't imagine they are. I think the Apollo Theater's still throbbing.
It's there in Harlem. I never make it up to Harlem to see it.
You need to talk to Ethan.
About?
Doing Live at the Apollo.
Yes, I would love
If
to.
there is still a Live at the Apollo
Okay.
going on.
I've asked him to put me on the Chitlin circuit and also cruise ships because I think these would both be really fun. This is the agent. And
we had the same
and
agent,
He walks
Pete.
around going, he introduces me to other powerful Jews in show business going, this man wants to do the Chitlin circuit and a cruise show. But we have different plans for James. So can we do both? Can't we do both?
They're not mutually exclusive.
Will people stop booking me in an A room because I'm doing a beautiful cruise? Here's my plan. 'Cause I
You
have
are
to go
so
back to
Australian
Australia
right
all the
now.
time.
Yeah.
You've got to fly with children. There's a time delay. It's difficult. My family
wanna
never
take a
gets real
steamer?
holiday. Yes.
You want to pack the kids in a trunk?
We'll begin at the top of the Mississippi. We'll come down, come out Louisiana way.
Big riverboat paddling.
And then we're going to come around what do they call that down the bottom of Chile? I hear that's very easy to sail around.
Oh, yeah, the Cape of Good Faith.
Is it Cape of Good Hope is one of them, but that might be
Good Hope.
South Africa. Isn't it bizarre that they didn't sail down Africa sooner?
I don't
The
know.
Europeans. It was the 1800s, 19th century.
And the Dutch got there first?
The Dutch, they didn't. They only had the trading posts on the outside, but it took, I think, the French to really get up the guts,
Oh, yeah, they did some damage.
and the Belgians really. I don't know how bad that could have been.
The Dutch were like...
I hear the Belgians were very bad.
The Belgians were some of the worst. The Belgian Congo?
Yeah. How much of that is revision?
What's the one... People trying to put an ugly bow on things. Just an easy answer. A little button on that genocide.
They left it better than they found it, man.
Well, you know what? If someone's like, hey... if a white guy is from Africa...
Yeah.
You assume South Africa. And that's bad enough due to their troubled past.
Well, if you find a Congolese white.
If you find a Zimbabwean white...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that man was in the bush with nothing but grenades and
A
smiles.
Rhodesian.
Yeah, the Rhodesian army.
While the Black Lives Matter protests were happening, I was in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I hadn't fled yet, with my then pregnant wife, and we were finding an obstetrician. And we found a guy, and they call him Vaginal Lionel. Because
Where'd you see him? On a urinal cake?
That's the best. No, all the people who who don't want to have another cesarean section go to Vaginal Lionel, and he gives you a vaginal delivery. But he was Rhodesian, and we had a.
So how did he learn this task?
Well, we were talking about the Black Lives Matter, and we were watching it. It was on the screen, and they were using a water cannon.
Yeah.
And I think he said something like, "They weren't using a water cannon when I was in Rhodesia."
Puts the glove on.
He was a great man. He was very funny.
Yeah, he sounds
and I'm
like a
saying all
blast.
positive things. He wasn't being negative about anything at all. I don't want to slander a man.
No.
And
not
then we-
Vaginal Lionel.
They say he's the best. We
Who
didn't get
says
to use him
that?
because we fled.
Other buskers on the street?
All the Catholics
Oh, okay.
who want vaginal deliveries.
They want to keep it
not-
tight.
They don't want to. Well, they want to loosen it out. Actually, they don't
Well, I
want to
know,
triple
but
down on the C-section.
well, the cesarean though. Well, that's the fucking
Oh, it makes all
church
the
tent
abadabbas
flapping.
go loosey goosey. Yeah, loosey goosey. It's very hard to. The recovery is ugly.
Now, is abadabba a slur I should be aware of?
No, abadabbas is the abdominal
The
muscles.
abdominal
Sorry.
muscles, okay.
You don't call them the abadabbas?
No.
Oh man, what a funny. We've almost got a different language. You and I.
Oh, you guys have the best stuff going on down there.
Well, I found out running up the score. That was a big one.
Yeah?
We don't have that.
You don't?
We
You
just
take a
dominate.
knee?
No, you just win as hard as you can, and people go, "Well, that was that." But in America, you're not supposed to.
Right, there's sportsmanship involved.
I love that you have restraint in victory.
We have to. That's what we've only been winning for so long. We can't just go out fucking spiking the football and doing the worm on the 50.
This is what you have to do militarily. You've got the fat man. It's like having your no nuclear weapons in Vietnam. Is that really a loss, or was that a exhibition game? If that was a real war.
Preseason.
Yeah. It's a scrimmage.
We figured it out.
Scrimmage is.
I went to Scotland. And have you ever done Comedy Key West?
No, I've never done comedy in Scotland.
Well, Comedy Key West is in Florida. It's Key West, Florida. But I went there with the people who own Comedy Key West. And then, so I'm over there with this guy named Tom Dustin. He's one of the funniest fucking guys ever to live. He's from Boston. He moved to Key West to fucking leaving Las Vegas himself. But he rules, and we're sitting there, and he's proposing to his girlfriend at a falconry spot. So we go to see these falcons, right? And the guy who's the falconer says he has an accent, and I'm like trying to talk to Tom, and I'm like, where do you think he's from? And he's like, I don't know. He sounds like he's Australian, some kind of Kiwi. Hey, where are you from? And the guy says, I'm from Africa. And Tom says, South Africa. And the guy says, no, Zimbabwe. And Tom goes, oh.
They're good people. But they were the Brits who went there after the war.
Yeah.
Another weird part of it. Their population exploded in the, I want to say 50s, 60s. By the 70s, it might have started to abate.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
It was a buyer's market.
And what's weird about the Rhodesians is when you killed one as a black separatist, independent, communist.
Freedom fighter.
Terrorist.
Liberator.
Whatever it is
Martyr.
that you were. Yes, a good man, no doubt. 10 would leave. But this did not replicate in South Africa with the Boer, the British were just happy to get out. This is difficult, we're leaving. But the Boer in South Africa, they cling. They're not going anywhere. Isn't that strange?
Yes.
It's interesting.
So wait, are the Boer the whites?
The Boer. It was
the Boer.
They're the Dutch.
Some people think this whole conversation is one of those.
Well, that's why the Dutch are so exciting, is because in the 17th century all the Boers left. Thank you for having me, Conan.
You were telling me about a fun desk bit from a guy who got fired in Australia. He just covered himself in olive oil and rolled around.
Well, when the show got cancelled, I believe the character was Mr. Oily that Greg was playing. And he just covevered himself in oil and rolled around on a tarp.
Oh, my God.
Mr. Oily. That was the full sketch.
Would they throw change at him or anything?
We'd have to bring up Mr. Oily to jog the memory.
Did they have to, catch him?
But I remember that was the week that I got to do a segment on the show as well.
Really?
And it was nice that I was as crazy an idea to put on television as Mr. Oily.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely the ship sinking. Bring on Jimmy.
We can't fail any worse. Now it's safe to let James.
Yeah, they're just throwing fucking rats on the boat as it burns.
I was happy to have it.
Yeah,
I was happy to do it.
Yeah, I bet you. I heard that you changed the paradigm with that appearance. Because you were like, what if it was Mrs. Oily? And then you had a bikini underneath your shirt and you took it off and you covered yourself in oil.
They weren't ready for us.
No.
The Aussies come rolling through. We'll never have another good television show.
You know who needs a TV show down there?
Who?
Ray O'Leary.
Well, I think he's in Britain now. A friend of mine just met him and very attractive. And, wait, no, not Ray O'Leary. I'm thinking of Ray Badron.
I was going to say Ray O'Leary.
Actually, as she told me the story, I thought she was talking about Ray O'Leary as well. Sweet Ray. I would like to cast Ray in my movie.
Oh, that'd be great.
And there's a scene that I think a famous American person might be in.
Oh, yeah.
I'd get to put Ray O'Leary in the scene with that person.
Really?
Yes.
Well, both of them are going to hate that.
Yes. That's the plan.
You Machiavellian scamp. Is the famous person going to go to Australia to be in the movie?
I'm going to just get a cameraman to come out here.
That's good. Yeah.
That seems like more likely to happen. Mm-hmm. But when Will Smith is in the movie...
Will, you hearing this?
No, he'll love Ray O'Leary. I saw Ray's Hour recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he went off to Edinburgh with it. And it was good. It's a tight hour.
It's great jokes. I think I brought up Ray O'Leary in this podcast many times. But yeah, check out Ray O'Leary, the pride of New Zealand comedy, now Australia via London.
I met him. I can't tell this story.
Why?
Because he told me not to tell it because it was illegal. But boy, he loved comedy and he'd do anything for comedy.
You must tell me later. You must
I will.
dish.
I'll tell you later.
Can you do it as a blind item? Like a bit of gossip revealed in the rags? You know, like a certain
I've
leery,
heard it said, a leery fellow.
yeah,
Yeah.
a ray of light in a leery
You're faster
world.
than I am. You're quick. I've got to get on the fish oil so I can
You're
compete.
so fast.
No, when I'm up there, I feel turgid.
Oh, you're so stupid.
moving in
Is that
mud.
really how you feel?
Of course.
You're going so fast. Your laps per minute are fucking mental. It's so great.
Well, that's the only weapon one can have. I mean, I remember the plane I was on. I was on the way to Perth, and it was the only place that would book me. I'd been doing comedy for like 8 years, just in alt rooms, fucking around.
yeah.
And I
We're
kept
very
thinking I was
similar.
doing great works of genius, like dressing up like a nun and talking about Monopoly, and then doing that again for Nunopoly 2, Nun Monopoly. And for some reason, the critics and the audiences didn't respect it, and the business wouldn't get behind me.
The critics.
Oh, there's a very nasty review written about me on Chortle where
What?
the closing line is, if only this nun had taken a vow of silence. And
Damn.
for nowhere in
You
this
put that in the
garbled,
act.
incoherent mess is there anything to suggest this is a man with the slightest idea of what he is doing. At a mercifully short 35 minutes. Anyway, it goes on.
Mercifully.
Mercifully short.
As if it was an act of divine intervention, you not doing more than 40.
I was going through a very bad time. There was a
Uh-huh.
Venezuelan comedian who came to see me during that run and said, I don't think you respect the audience.
Yeah.
And I tried to change. But it was like no one's helping me, and I brought up a Word document, and I tried to get all my jokes down to one. Like there should be a big laugh at the end of the line.
Yeah.
And if it's not as big a laugh, it has to go.
Yeah.
But then the rate at which I write has shrunk. I'm down to an American rate of writing. Is 10 years gets you an hour.
Well.
They say that. That's their first hour. It's taking me...
Well, of course, the first hour, yeah.
It's taking me a year to write 40 minutes. And for me, I'm really working at it.
Yeah, but they're 40 good minutes for once.
I was very happy having an hour of shit.
I remember the first hour that I would fucking drag around the United States.
Yeah.
My God. I can't believe I had
the
such
lowest
enough
moment in the hour.
confidence. The lowest moment. I
Is
think
there anything you can work on and bring back?
my opener for a while was, sure are a lot of pretty ladies in here. Glad I wore my good flannel.
Nice.
I know what you're thinking, everyone. Wow, Wolverine really let himself go.
Nice.
Those
I
are my
don't mind
openers.
this.
Yeah.
You do versions of that now.
Oh, of course. I'm always.
I'm taking a bold choice with this shirt.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's the thing is about me is like I am up there in a similar mindset where it's like everything I say should be something funny.
Yeah.
Like these people who take these long fucking ponderous setups, and at the end of the act, obviously I do this like poetic thing, but that's because it
You've
totally,
got a hard kick at the end of it.
Well, yeah, but it also just goes again. It's like that's kind of funny in itself because look, I don't think people want to hear about the minutiae.
The
of stand-up.
rhythms, you get comedy is about unexpected rhythms. So when you have the same unexpected rhythm repeatedly, it becomes expected, and then you have to change the rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm having this problem now. It's all fastballs.
Yeah, but fuck, dude.
It would be nice to slow it down. You know what I want to do is a knuckleball.
Oh yeah.
One that just slowly floats at him.
It sounded like the first 8 years you were only throwing knuckleballs and
There's a couple
sliders.
spitballs in there. Do you know about the spitball history? The phasing out of the spitball?
You mean in baseball?
Yes.
Yeah, when they would have it. No one throws spitballs anymore.
A lot of people were throwing spitballs, and they made spitballing illegal, but they only made it illegal for new spitballers. So if you were already playing baseball,
You're grandfathered in?
and you were grandfathered in, and one guy plays on for another like 20 years because
Yeah.
it's the last. It's worth having the spitball, even though he's now 48 years old.
Yeah.
We're keeping our spitballer, but no one else was allowed to do it except that one guy.
No.
Isn't that fascinating?
This is an American baseball.
This is in American baseball.
Major League.
Yes.
Well, not your fucking wiggy-woggy cricket. You're talking about a real sport.
If only we could get the Wiggy Wogs to play cricket, then we'd really have.
Okay.
It's not a big Italian. No, it's not a big Italian Greek. It's not small, but they love soccer.
They sure do.
Boy, some of them like football as
They
well.
like bird fishing, too. Have you heard about this? There's a certain element in the Mediterranean who will put like a piece of like fish on a string and then just kind of like throw it where birds hang out, like
This
in an
sounds
estuary.
Vietnamese.
Well,
What?
you know, the world's big and there's many names for many similar things.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like a bird will bite it and then they yank the bird in and then they stomp on its head.
Nice.
And then that's dinner.
I respect that.
I think it's innovative. It's probably ancient, actually.
A gun doesn't have to go off. There's a certain.
Well, these people don't have guns. They're refugees.
Has any other developed country kept their guns? The Swiss have kept their guns.
The Swiss, I didn't know they had guns. That
They have guns,
surprises
but
me.
they don't have a lot of shootings because they're so happy.
Yeah. The quality of life.
They didn't get the Matrix over there. I went back and watched the Matrix again. Those Those trans ladies have blood on their hands. They made shooting up innocent people look really cool. That scene at the end is morally ambiguous.
I have not revisited The Matrix since I saw it as a boy.
Not The Matrix Revisited?
No.
It's a beautiful film, but for me, it's...
Is this the first Matrix?
The first Matrix, I regard it as like Triumph of the Will, where I think a very evil ideology is behind it, but you can't knock Leffi Rochenstahl into cinematography. I mean, it's a perfectly made, deeply anti-human, anti-life.
I liked all the bullets, the slow-mo bullets.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was cool.
They make that look great. It's a beautiful film.
Yeah, it's really well
wonderfully
done.
made film.
Mm-hmm.
Evil.
Oh, you can't put The Matrix. You can't put The Matrix in that box.
I do. I put The Matrix in an evil box.
Well, I have the key to it, and guess what? I just opened it and let it out.
That's the nature of cinema. If only Leffi Rochenstahl hadn't made such beautiful pictures.
You know what I like?
Do you know Leffi Rochenstahl?
No.
She made Triumph of the Will. Then she made Olympiad. She made the big Nazi. If you've seen cool Nazi footage that they use in Star Wars, is the other thing. They just use parts of her movies in Hollywood afterwards.
What?
So the closing scene of Star Wars, when there's all those people around and then they walk down and they get their medals, this is just a scene in Triumph of the Will. This is where the Nazis are giving special medals. And it's shot exactly the same. Very beautifully shot.
So the Nazis are bad or good?
In Triumph of the Will?
Just in general. Pick a side.
I'm don't like the Nazis. Never have.
Yes.
And I went on some podcasts and I said some pro-Franco things that I
You sure
regret.
did. That was my introduction to you.
Really? This
was
guy
Matt and
loves-
Shane's secret podcast,
This
and you
guy
were on there
loves
being like,
Franco.
well, I don't know if women shouldn't be on leashes.
I never said
Well,
that.
you were saying the
I
equivalent
have
type
views
stuff.
that are close enough to that I have to strenuously deny that that's one of my views. I don't even put my children on a leash because I think black people will disapprove of me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's their thing.
They can't stand it. I see where you're going. I won't do it. I'm raising my children to be hip.
I met your kids. They're great.
I miss them. I love them.
You got Reggie and Luann and Squeaky.
We do keep the names private as best
I
we can.
didn't say
I
their
know,
real names
Yeah, I know.
because I don't remember
I know.
them.
Reggie
If I had to
would be a
guess, it'd
great
be
name.
like Gertie and
I know.
Mont Blanc.
There is a woman who does the news in Adelaide from a big Catholic family of like
Yeah.
8 kids. And the parents would go through the obituary pages to find good old names.
What?
And her name is Gertie Sperling.
Gertie Sperling.
Gertie Sperling. She's of the Sperling family. And she's Gertrude Sperling, I believe.
What's her brother's name? Like Augie?
I do know an Augie.
We all know an
Augies
Augie.
running around. Do you have Augies?
Yeah, I had a bunch of Augies. They were the
That's
ones
a
always
big
eating
bunch.
mud because they thought it was chocolate. Augie's like a dumb kid's name.
St. Augustine was a great, intelligent man.
Speaking of saints,
Utah Saints. No, there's something good is gonna happen. Do you know that song?
no.
Oh, it's a great American heavy dance number.
Okay, four on the floor.
Gigi D'Agostino school. You know, yes. But it samples Kate Bush.
Huh.
It's happened in, I think, the early 90s.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know there's something. It's just like Kate Bush's beautiful warbling voice.
No.
And on the single version, it's like before that comes in, it's Utah Saints, Utah.
No, dude.
Bum, 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 bum. And then Kate
What?
Bush comes in. It's one of my favorite ever songs.
What? You need
I
to send me
listen to
these
it to
types of
feel,
things. Ziggy Rechenstahl, all your favorite guys, all your influences.
Wow, what's funny about her? So she kept making movies after being a Nazi.
Yeah.
I think she denied she was a Nazi. She was of the Albert Speer school where she just said, I wanted to make great art. And they were
Right.
saying, go for it. And she did beautiful underwater
They were
documentaries.
patrons for her.
Yes.
Yes.
It gets weirder with, I want to say,
Well, look,
Heidegger.
I'm going to say
Is it
this.
Heidegger?
I bet we got a couple
It's not Heidegger.
Nazi Patreon members, you
Who's
know?
the other? Yes, probably. And
For
I
sure.
disapprove. I don't think Nazism is the answer.
I don't either. I don't like fascism. I like freedom and liberty.
I thought you said I like fascism and you were propping that
You
up as-
said it a lot.
I have said repeatedly that Mussolini had a cool vibe.
Yeah, you said that he was chilling to the max.
He was obviously not a good man.
You said you were on his wavelength and his groove was
Graphic
appropriate.
design is unbelievable. Have you seen his
Of course.
C poster?
Of course.
Well,
Of
he's-
course.
Yeah.
I own a couple of those old like Soviet propaganda posters. They're in my home.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, Soviet realism, very beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Great movies coming out. I'm trying to watch Andrei Rublev. Please keep. I can't make it all the way through.
Andrei Rublev.
Yeah.
Does he play for the Mavericks?
This is one of your big, tall Yugoslavian basketball players.
Yes, yes. War Criminal Blood gives you a jumper like no other.
Why are it's only one Slav who's big though, of the people. Like it's the, what are they called? The Serbs. Mm-hmm. Have you met a Croatian?
I have.
Itty bitty, angry, strange people.
There's just off-brand Italians. Let's be honest.
That's
Them,
fair.
the Albanians. Let's get real.
Well, Dua Lipa is a real fine moral. They kept playing when we were trying to watch the football. This ad for a Dua Lipa show that was coming up later. It's because 60 Minutes is doing a Dua Lipa special.
Really?
And Dua Lipa, I couldn't. Every time it came on, my eye started to twitch.
Yeah.
And I started looking at Dua Lipa and feeling very alone. And thinking about how just wonderful Dua Lipa is and how proud I am of all her successes.
Is that what you were doing? Because there were moments where I would... Tommy actually said to you, Tommy Pope went...
What?
Yeah, right over there, James? Because you were sitting there like this. It was like the end of Clockwork Orange, and you were just...
Yeah, Beethoven is playing in my mind while Dua Lipa. That's what I've done to not find strange women attractive.
That TV, it was like Videodrome in there. It was insane.
Yes.
It was like we were in Pittsburgh, your favorite football team, who beat my Denver Broncos today.
But it was not an aesthetic victory.
Yeah, no, it was plodding. It
If
was
you
like
have
watching mules fight.
If you have a great defense, none of those players double up to the offense.
Historically, no. In college, sometimes. There's a great guy for CU. Sorry, everyone. I just pulled a Lund.
Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy at CU who plays both ways. He did like 186 snaps.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very rare, though, because there's too much to lose. And also, it's so specific in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have an area of expertise, and then you devoted your life to that, and you keep mining that vein.
But if your team is a great defensive team, you should, and you never offend well. You're never offensively threatening.
Well,
This
think
is
about this. If a cornerback could catch a football, he'd be a wide receiver.
Okay.
That's what everyone always says.
It's great.
You know, and then also a fat guy has to decide when he's in third grade if he's going to be a defensive fat guy or an offensive fat guy.
The fat guy job looks really similar.
It is not.
Okay. What are the different skills for the fats?
Okay, you're Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
I'll break it down. You got 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and then 4 in the secondary. So cornerback, safety.
Yes.
4 linebackers. Then you have a nose tackle here who goes over the center on the offensive line.
And he's just trying to sack the quarterback or the running back or whoever's got the...
That is your prime initiative, but
Okay.
in reality, the nose guard is trying to grab onto as many offensive linemen as he can to then make the game 10 on 11.
You want to draw them away so someone else can maybe get
Well, yeah, because if you have,
Is this you grabbing a helmet?
No, this is you grabbing typically the armpit hair of a different fat guy and trying to rip it
2
out.
fat guys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a nasty thing you guys didn't probably do on the cricket pitch, the armpit snake. No. Oh, my God,
No
dude.
one gets in your armpits in any of our sports, I don't think. Maybe in
Yeah.
rugby.
Well, and they call it tugby. So anyway,
Got a series of maneuvers. They actually do have one that they call the squirrel.
the squirrel.
Yeah.
What's that? Is
So
it a
you grab
goosing?
the testicle.
Oh, of course. That's a
Yeah.
big one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There's testicle grabbing.
I think I'm getting that right.
If you can get up underneath the man's shoulder pads and try and grab onto his breast fat or nipples, the nipples are the sweetest treat for the defensive lineman. If you can get in there, you just want to grab 2 guys.
But you were an offensive linesman.
I was an offensive lineman because I was smart. I wasn't as dumb as a houseplant. Defensive linemen need
Is
to
that
know.
what it comes
they
down
need
to?
to either go left or right. That's all they
Same
need to
body
know.
type.
I mean, look, I don't want to
IQ is
besmirch
the
D
difference.
linemen,
All right.
but a lot
yet
of
to meet
them,
any
a
D
lot of them are
linesmen.
legally brain dead.
All right.
A lot of them don't have.
It's all STEM?
It's all STEM. it's all reptile. That's what they got.
Okay.
They live in caves. So then the offensive linemen are smart. These are the heroes. These are they sacrifice
I
themselves.
see what I'm getting at some sort of...
Well, I'm just saying that
Yeah.
we never touch the ball. We never get the big sack.
Now,
The only time they ever say,
Sometimes you must accidentally get to touch the ball.
well,
break
yeah,
free.
if it's a fumble, and then you haven't done your job because everything's been it's been disheveled behind you.
But you would never even try to break... Like, the ball's upfield. What are you...
You're not allowed to go upfield.
What?
You have to stay back, and you have to watch everyone dance in the end zone. And then you could run the 40 yards to celebrate, but come on.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
No, you're not allowed by the... I mean, how many of these rules are set down by... Are they customs, or are they actually...
A lot
the
of
defensive
them-
linesman is not to go over?
No, a lot of them are ordained.
Okay.
Yeah, they come from the rule book.
Do you have to say who the quarterback
there's not
is
a lot
at the
of
start of the
customs
play?
involved
You have to
in-
say this man is the quarterback. He's
Yeah.
playing quarterback.
Yeah, well, everyone knows who's the quarterback because they're receiving the ball.
Okay.
They get the snap.
It was a thought I had because we've got a great running quarterback.
Yes, you do,
in,
Justin Fields.
I'm thinking, yes, Notre Dame. And he can really run.
Yeah.
And people aren't happy about that because his throwing is...
You're thinking about Notre Dame?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Notre Dame.
So
not
he
Justin
made you
Fields.
like that team?
Oh, yes, he did.
Is that one of your rules? Yeah. Did you sign that contract?
I got Shane to go along with the Adelaide Crows, and I accepted Notre Dame.
I'm an Essendon man.
It's so sad.
They're jackrabbits. They're fun. They're bunny rabbits with horns. What do you want?
The Bombers? No, you're thinking the Rabbitohs.
The Rabbitohs.
It's in rugby. No, we have no rabbit-based AFL team.
You got to have a rabbit team. How do you get the chicks to
Crow
watch?
is the rabbit of the sky. The shorts. Shorts.
The crow is the rabbit of the sky.
I was just trying to say you should be a
I
crow
love
boy.
it. No, I'm a crow boy. I told you. I'm in.
It's America's team.
Yeah, they must
Certainly
be.
not Australia's team at this point. We are not playing well.
But your boss made you watch Notre Dame, and what happened?
I mean, first of all, I love them
Yeah.
because we beat Texas A&M in that first one that I watched, and that was great.
Oh, and also
we had a
you're
very good-
Catholic.
Yes,
So-
know that.
okay.
And I was in the Midwest, and the Notre Dame sphere of influence is huge.
I mean, they're Coca-Cola. They're Marlboro cigarettes. They're definitively American. I love Notre Dame. Means a lot to this country and our history.
Mean a lot to me. I've been there.
I've been there too.
I've seen the Golden Dome and the Grotto and the Classical Architecture School.
Yeah.
Have no shortage of nice things to say about the sweet people and sweet campus of Notre Dame.
Yeah, but have you been into South Bend? The Dewdrop Inn was the comedy club across from the jail, and you got paid in Arby's gift certificates.
Oh, that's a good sandwich. But the Maya I did like as a store.
Meyer.
Is that how you say it?
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Meyer's great.
It's like, what if Walmart cost a little more, but
Right.
everyone was having a good time?
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a fun place. I like. But okay, so here's my thought: is that so the quarterback has to run, and but he's the only one who can throw forward. You get one opportunity to throw forward. But if the first throw is backward,
Then you can throw it forward.
it can still be thrown. Forward.
Yes, that's a backwards lateral.
So if you had a great running back / quarterback,
Yeah.
you could somehow get him the ball way down on the side to start running and throw. Like you could have the ball launched. Do you see what I'm saying?
No. I think you're lost in the sauce.
Here's your quarterback.
Okay, here's the ball snapped to him.
Ball snapped to him.
Okay.
Okay, but
All right.
your quarterback,
Here's the running back.
who can really run and
Yeah.
throw. You have
Yes.
the man who can really throw.
Yes.
He's actually here.
Yes.
Right? He's back. And some other secondary type person is here.
Okay.
Just getting the ball over here to the quarterback so that he can launch from
So you're saying
Wherever.
so you'd put your quarterback out to the
so that
sideline.
he may receive a lateral pass and
then-
throw from a different position. Open up a different play.
But if this guy's throwing the ball forward to the
No,
quarterback,
he's throwing it laterally
oh, so you have this guy. You have the quarterback set up like 10 yards back
and to the side.
and to the side on the sideline,
Yes.
where the offensive line is not located. There's no one to block for him over there.
You could move a couple guys out.
You could move a couple guys over there, but you have to maintain your formation. You need to have 5 men on the line.
You do need 5 men on the line.
Yes. So
Can they be on the line at any point, or they have to be a certain
they
level
can,
of
but
centrality?
you're trying to break the rules.
Isn't that what football's all about? People coming up with creative plays.
No, it's all about standing for the national anthem. It's all about making sure kids still join the Navy and the Marines. It's a brainwashing psyop, and I am in the Matrix. I am goo for gaga when it comes to them.
It is a hopelessly regimented game.
Yeah,
The number
exactly.
of
It's
rules.
warfare.
Yes.
You guys are a bunch of chickens with your heads cut off, kicking the ball forward and kneeling.
Well, we're uptight the rest of the time, and we need to do something loosey-goosey.
The Australians are uptight.
Oh, yes. We're the most
You guys are the
uptight.
toddlers of the world.
No, we're the most
you guys
uptight people on the
No,
planet.
you're running around going,
We're following all the rules.
I eat beef pies.
They're great. There's
Yeah.
cameras on you all the time. You can't speed in your motor vehicle.
You're a nanny
Can't
state. You're
run.
babies.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you finally have one moment to be free out there for football. But I feel in America, you live such a free, beautiful life. You want a tightly regimented recreation.
I think that people in America, I agree, I think that they are so desperate for some kind of order in the chaos that their lives have become that they can have this fucking, nipple, and then their 5 months of their life on Sunday just is automatically circling this thing.
And also, I mean, this sounds like a negative description. I love it.
I love the AFL.
Oh, it's the great.
That's the greatest sporting event I've ever been to.
Port Adelaide coming against Sydney in an upcoming big final. Ken needs to deliver.
Oh, yeah, but Port Adelaide has no chance against the mighty Sydney.
Well, South Melbourne is. They used to be South Melbourne and then they're Sydney. You can say that to sort of hurt their feelings. But they're a good look. They're a good team. They're playing at home. The Port Adelaide coach is on borrowed time.
Oh, yeah. Because he keeps taking them to the final but not winning.
Fans boo him now.
Yeah.
And they want him gone. And last year they wouldn't even buy tickets to the finals because they were like, well, he's just going to lose. And
You
then-
know what he needs to do? He needs to walk out at the beginning of the next game with Bob Hawke under his arm.
Bobby's dead.
I know.
Okay.
So you
Oh,
fucking
he's in
dig
the
up
urn.
the
He's
grave.
in the urn.
Yeah. And then when he comes out, he has like a velvet pouch.
Sadly,
and
was
he
a
pulls
Sydney
his
guy.
skull out of it. Yeah, and he says, "I've got hockey's head."
Oh, that's nice to
and then he
rub it in.
And then he fucking skulls a beer out of it. He skulls out of the skull.
Ken's head already looks very skull-like.
Oh no!
Yeah, he's got a Skeletor.
Wraithish.
Skeletor is the meme that's often employed
Skeletor.
for. Yeah,
I love that.
that's what people bring up. But he's started to get the pressure got to him last week, and after they won the game, he got very chippy with the other team.
Right,
as they were
because of
coming
an
off the field.
Instagram comment.
They were cheering someone off the field, though.
Chairing?
Yeah, if someone's played a milestone game, like 300 games,
Yeah.
you put them up on your shoulders like your human chairs.
Oh, we do that after like a
chair
good
him off.
punt return.
Really?
Yeah. We hand out chairings left and right.
This is how uptight we are. We're so disapproving if anyone gets a chair before they're 300.
Well, yeah, and the prime minister has to sign off on it. You know, he has to like deliver a
world
letter
away.
stamped.
Oh, but then when we go relaxed, when you kick 100 goals during a home and away season, do you know this?
No.
It hasn't happened in quite a while. But if you kick either 1,000 career goals, which happened a couple of years ago, and it was great, or you kick 100 goals in the home and away season, people just run onto the field, and it'll be like it's a big game, 100,000 people, and they all run onto the oval.
So they'll storm the field in
They'll
like the
storm the
first
field.
3 minutes if that's when the goal's scored.
It doesn't matter when it is. Then the game just has to end for 15 minutes.
And everyone's
eventually
okay with it.
They push everyone. Oh, no, there's a lot of security, and they ask people not to do it. But they were okay with it. Now they're not okay with it. But there's no stopping it.
No, of
that's
course.
the power of tradition. They have engineered it so fewer goals are kicked, and it happens less and less.
Is that as a preventative measure against people reveling in public?
I just think they don't want us feeling joy while we watch football. I can't imagine why the rules are being written any other way.
I feel like you guys are some of the most joyous people I've ever met. And granted, I'm only hanging out with Australian comedians. But
Australian
we're
comedians.
cutting up, and you guys, I mean, Andrew Wolf, that man's defined by joy and fear and rage. You know?
Andrew Wolf cannot be defined.
No.
Gee, it would be nice to...
He is a mist. He doesn't fit in any container, but he takes the shape of everything.
Wolfie, you're a great man.
I love Andrew Wolf.
And you've got to tour the world and be seen by people.
You got to get out of there, Wolfie.
Wolfie,
All
I know
right?
you've got a family.
Yeah.
You've got to do something so that people know about you. You're a great gift.
Quit scamming the stock market for the Yakuza or whatever the fuck you're doing and get out of there.
He has two of the best podcast episodes I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's
One was on like the Crunchy guys or whatever.
Mr. Crunch and the Crunchy Bunch.
See, you're quick too.
And the...
No, wasn't there like, it was called like Scumbo's Madhouse or something.
I mean, that would actually do very well in Australia. I think it was on... It just ended. I don't remember what it was called. It was a podcast I've been bad-mouthed on. And I don't remember
It
what
was,
it is.
yeah, it was the boy. It was like their come town, right? They would tour.
No, I don't know that they tour. We never had anyone successful
What's the
enough
name of the podcast?
I can't remember. The put down, the gross out, the I hate you show, and they would just talk about things that had angered them. Yeah. But we
You
never
came
had
up
a
often?
come-down. We never had sometimes. And the people bleep my name out, but I can tell that it's me.
Because
I'm
the
a
joy
nice
in their
guy.
voice.
I'm
You
trying
are.
so hard. Sean Gardini has started spreading a rumor that I'm a mean man.
Oh,
He
really?
keeps saying mean man McCann.
You mean the Black Cloud of Austin, Sean Gardini? The boy prince who's been anointed?
He's a sweet boy.
He's a great kid, but he's always bummed out. I'm like, Sean, you got the tiger by the tail.
I think he was so happy to come up with Toyota Tacoma Tommy and how angry that made Tommy. Did you follow that drama? No. Tommy bought a Toyota Tacoma
T-Pope?
and he started calling him Triple T. Toyota Tacoma Tommy.
And Tommy doesn't like it?
Tommy, apparently, this is what I heard, hated it, but now
What?
is starting a YouTube series called Toyota Tacoma Tommy.
What?
He's owning it.
He's embraced it.
It's his gay.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I think that's beautiful.
I'm glad. I mean, Tommy, it was fun to watch his set from behind the curtain. You know?
Yeah.
'Cause he goes to, like you said, he goes to some very dark places.
Well, there was one. Also, the material changes a lot from night to night. And
Yeah.
there was one night where he was keeping it light, and it did sound like he was giving a woman an orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I've ever made a woman make those noises from the stage or in the bedroom.
No, never, for sure. Women in the crowd will go,
It just all the laughter would happen, and then there'd be they all die off, and you still hear that one, the E above high C ring out.
that's right. And then dogs come into the room.
That's a big part of the script about dogs playing tennis, though.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm
This
wondering
is your
if they could
passion
coach
project.
the dog by using a dog whistle. You're not allowed to coach in tennis, and then maybe people find out, and then they can't coach the dog playing tennis anymore.
And this is what you've been filling the hours of your Your
This is
life
every
was
day.
since your
Every
family
day
left?
I sit down. They're coming back. I sit down and I just try and churn out Wimble Dog. It's getting there.
Wimble Dog. So it started as a pun.
I started as a description. I came up with the whole plot, and I was doing a bit on stage where I would describe movies that I wanted to make.
Yeah.
And that was the one I did as a joke to say this is what dog movies are meant to be like. And someone said, Wimble Dog.
Someone said it?
I know.
Someone in the crowd?
And I went, thank you. And that's mine.
Very good.
And, but the one I really wanted to make
I'll be having
was,
that.
There's a man who is at the Greyhound racing track. Man finds a loophole where any dog is allowed to race. Doesn't have to be greyhounds, it's just dogs, and they're the fastest dogs.
What?
But he really believes in his pug. So he takes a pug to the racetrack, and he's a very fast dog. But then he's so fast, he sneezes and his eyes explode out of his head. And it's more of a short film, I think.
You're going to need a big effects budget for that.
We just need one pug and some pepper.
You need one pug and you got to go to international waters.
You know, I've watched a couple movies back to back that involve cruelty to animals from the 70s. So like at the end of Apocalypse
Is this where
Now,
you get your kinks?
I just noticed that it was happening. I thought, that's strange. I don't usually see an ox getting beheaded alive on the screen. And the other one was in this movie, Andrei Rublev. There's a horse that falls down some stairs, and that's the Russians, and they don't prize life the way you and I do. But it's really upsetting to see something bad actually happen to an animal.
I would hate that.
And otherwise a piece of fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. There must be other examples. There is an example of there was a cat drowned in a great Australian movie, which I've not seen, but a Bad Boy Bubby. Am I getting that right? That's a very beloved. It sounds like a fake movie.
No, it sounds like an Australian movie that probably won an Oscar.
I think it
This summer, Bad Boy Bubby.
I think
You've had enough cake, Bubby. Shut up, Bubby. Oh, so it's this summer, Bad Boy Bubby.
Is that your Nick Cave? Do you know Nick Cave?
Of course. The
I don't know him
Proposition?
here very much. What?
The movie, right? The
Is he in it?
Proposition?
I've never seen The Proposition.
What?
No.
It's one of the best movies you guys have ever done.
Okay.
It's like that and Chopper.
Wow.
The rest of the world can get out of the way when it comes to Chopper and The
A
Proposition.
little movie called Babe, Pig in the City.
That's yours?
It's an Australian director. It's the same guy who did Mad Max.
No wonder it's so whimsical.
Did you know that?
That was his follow-up?
Yeah.
Is that George Miller?
Yeah.
He did Babe.
I want to confirm that I'm getting this right. I think I'm getting this right. I'd be so embarrassed if I wasn't getting this right.
I'd be embarrassed for you. We would have to start over, I think. Where are we at on this? My God, we're fucking cooking, baby. James is looking up. He's trying to validate another one of his lies. Also, Adam Egget lied to us and said he was going to wear a hilarious Big Dog shirt.
Screenplay. He did the screenplay. Screenplay by George Miller.
Oh, my God.
Also known for the Mad Maxes.
And wearing scarves despite the weather.
It's a very Australian thing.
So we
Australian
talked
directors.
about this. You could become George Miller. You could pivot and do your fucking,
We'll see how Wimble Dog goes.
Wimble Dog's going to be big. I think the glove
big,
film
big
is going to be good.
Oh, I hope so.
Have you? I didn't mean to.
No, I'm just thinking about it. And here's my question. Do you
Yes.
know the Australian actor Geoffrey Rush
Yes, of course.
got into some trouble with the ladies? Big law case.
Yeah.
Is it time for Geoffrey to come back? Would it hurt the film? I don't think it would.
You should get Depardieu as well if you're gonna
Oh,
revive
is he,
Rush. Oh, come on, the big fat French guy who drank 4 bottles of wine on set. Yeah, he got a bit curious with his fingies.
I don't believe that any lady could possibly have found that unpleasant.
Oh my God, can you imagine Depardieu?
Hello.
Depart dipping his wick and you're fucking Depardieu or Depart don't. Get off the
Yeah.
pot.
I can't keep up. It's been too long a day.
You're doing great. You're carrying the load. There he's back. That was you.
I need a great older actor.
Huh.
Ideally, who can do a German accent. And what's this man's name who's had the trouble? Geoffrey Rush. I remember him from a great movie, Mystery Men,
Yes, of course.
which he plays Casanova Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
Paul Rubens was in that.
Who's Paul Rubens? The painter?
Pee Wee Herman.
Yes, he was. I never
Yes.
put that together
Yeah.
that was the same guy until right now.
Yeah, and that's
He's
where
the flatulent one.
he's the flatulent
That was
one.
the first time I saw Janine Garofalo,
Yeah.
and I found her very sexually interesting.
Of course.
Yes.
I've been described as Rubenesque.
Reuben Sandwich? No, come on. Reuben Solo? He's a comedian
Do you
in
know
Australia.
the Ruben guy?
He's painted the fat ladies.
The fat ladies,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
I have one of those bodies. Very incredibly thin, beautiful, womanly arms. And
Interesting.
then chunky torso.
Yeah. There's also that fucking Italian guy. Maybe he's South American. We did the big fat lady statues. They're all over Rome.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, and in the wide world Rome, there's a lot of me like putting my head inside of a big fat lady's butt.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving people what they want.
That's really having a good time, I do believe.
Playing her boobies like bongos.
No, we've got to respect la donde.
I do. I'm a friend of the women.
I came up with a bit about blowjobs that I'm not going to say.
Okay.
It'd be like, some women are like, I love giving blowjobs. You know. Well, then you're not giving a good one.
That's going to work big in the black room you start. You got to do it at Black Rabbit.
Anyway,
You're gonna get away with
something there.
Oh,
it was a play on. People go, "Oh, pornography's fine. There's nothing wrong with that." Here, not the kind I've been watching.
Is that from the first 8 years?
I'd never made it to the stage.
It's interesting that you were an alt comic who then broke into the mainstream, like similar to me. I mean, I was definitively, and that was just because there's alternative rooms. Like I couldn't get into clubs
you
yet.
You started in a medium-sized town.
I did. I started in Denver.
And you yearned to stay. And I must say, I mean, maybe you'll disagree. We haven't spoken about this. The downtown of Denver reminded me very much of Adelaide's downtown.
Sure, that
in
makes
that
sense.
It's a grid. The streets are fairly narrow.
And it's
You've
empty.
held on to a lot of your 19th century, turn of the century architecture.
Mm-hmm. Denver's a brand new city. Yeah, it's like built in the 50s and 60s and 70s mostly.
Really? Well, they made it look old and beautiful.
Well, we have one building that's cool. It's shaped like a cash register, and we really hang our hat on that. That's our exploding star we won't shut up about.
Well, I'd like to see it.
You look at the skyline, you'll see the cash. It's on the Nuggets logo.
The fact that hills surround it.
Mountains. We call them mountains.
Excuse me. We've got the hills. You've got the mountains. And I loved Adelaide, and I could have left Adelaide earlier.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want to.
Brother, I adored Denver, and I adored my position in the rankings. I liked being, you'd walk around in Denver. I'd be like 6 years into comedy, and people would be like, "Hey, you're the guy from The Squire," or whatever it was. Like there was a micro celebrity to it. I would get laid from stand up.
Alessio Carducci saw this happen to me in Adelaide. Not the getting laid.
Yeah.
But the King of Adelaide, and he was like, "You got to leave. This is
no
not
one,
healthy for you."
No one ever told me to leave. Everyone said,
I was
"Stay
only an
here
outsider.
forever."
He was from Melbourne, so he came over and thought, he went, "This is disgusting to be successful with 1 million people."
Well, it would be funny because LA and New York comics would come and do my weekly Wednesday show, and they'd see how much fun it was, and they'd be like, "What do you guys do on the weekend?" I'd be like, "Oh, I host and feature at the Comedy Works," and they'd be like, "Pretty good thing you got going on here," because they'd be like fucking scraping their teeth for 7 minutes of stage time in LA or whatever a week.
All the time in Denver. And the Comedy Works, which I've never been to, but I have seen, and I've seen, I think Nick Mullen did his special there.
It's Gangs for the Memories is recorded there.
It looks, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a beautiful, people say it is one of the best comedy clubs.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's performed there, it'd be hard to argue against that.
It can be made to look bad. I've seen some online specials. That wall just looks very strange and flat.
The
rock wall.
Mullen got away with it.
The Mullen special is perfect.
It says Comedy Works on the wall.
But he's using a weird angle to get black. It's just a tight, it's here to here, black background. He could have done that anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to shoot around it being a...
I was going to film mine there, and then Ethan said, "Well, Mullen just did his there, so why don't we do something else?" Because we were in the Diamond District.
The Borscht Belt's beautiful this time of year.
Me and you on the Chitlin circuit would be huge.
Is there a third one? Borscht Belt, Chitlin circuit.
The Latino lattice. That was the infrastructure they set up.
Taco time. I've got nothing.
You could be doing Mexican rooms down here. I told you that.
I don't know that there are Mexican.
Dude, there's Latino comics that no one's ever heard of outside of Texas who make like $300K a year doing like mole festivals. And
I wouldn't even know what Hispanic comedy looked like. Ralphie May?
You need a cowboy hat.
Is Ralphie May Hispanic?
No.
Okay.
No. He's the great white whale.
I thought he was
R.I.P.
Did he die?
Ralphie May?
I didn't know he died. I knew that he was big, but I didn't know he was dead.
Oh, yeah. He's been dead for a while.
Oh,
And I've made so many jokes.
sorry, Ralphie and your family.
Well, of course. I've been in green rooms all over this great land, and like a couch has been broken or something, and I've been like, "What? You have Ralphie May?" And whoever it is, every club owner or manager will flinch and then be upset with me and walk out
Because they loved Ralphie
because he was
so much.
beloved.
I think he was on the first season of Last Comic Standing.
Yeah. He was not the last comic standing.
Well, he got beaten, I think, by a little Chinese guy. Ant?
Or Mario Cantone.
I don't know him.
Or no, the Chinese guy.
There's a Chinese guy. I think.
Yes. He did the big Coca-Cola closer.
I can't remember one of their bits. The second season, I think, an Australian woman was on.
No.
Yeah.
We weren't scraping the
Fiona
barrel.
O'Loughlin. She came over for it, I believe.
Wrong.
It might not have been the second season, but it was one season of it. That would be a good show to bring back. Have they tried to bring that back? I think they brought it back with Norm years ago.
Yeah, they did. Jeselnik was involved.
It.
Roseanne was involved.
Is Roseanne one of the judges?
Yeah. It was mostly Norm being like, your bit about the Bible
I have seen that clip.
Shows how little you know about faith. And then the guy's up there doing a joke about like eating a ham sandwich or something. And Norm's like, he was just like became like a wizened old sage.
I'm sorry we didn't get that for longer. That would have been the most fun part of his career, I do believe.
I wish Egget would really just spill the beans, you know? Every time I'm hanging out with Egget, I'm waiting for him to just give me a fucking Norm story that might color my perception of one of my revered heroes.
No, keep it pure.
I want to hear about like the gambling. I want to hear about his
I heard one story about the gambling through Amos Gill.
Oh, yeah.
So Amos was at a casino, and have I told you this story?
No.
Oh, I'm so happy I get to say it.
Please do.
So they come up to him after the show, the people who run it, and they go, would you like that in a check or in chips? And he says, well, I'd like it in just money. I don't want chips. Why would I want that? He goes, well, sometimes people like to gamble, and we can set aside a private blackjack table for you if you'd like. And he says, well, I'm tired, and I'd like to go to bed. And they say, would you like us to send a blackjack dealer up to your room so you can lie in bed and gamble what you've made tonight? And he said, no, who would do that? And they said, Norm Macdonald would do that every time he was in town.
He'd play from bed?
He'd get into his bed.
He'd be recumbent with his stocking cap on?
A blackjack dealer upstairs.
What?
And he'd play blackjack after the show in bed.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that lovely?
He's the best.
Yeah.
How have you never told me this story?
I'm sorry.
Wow. Just up there with the blankets pulled up to his
snug,
chin.
Really probably getting to know the blackjack dealer. Maybe a movie's on.
Right.
Get a little room service.
Wow. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I've been paid in chips before. Doritos. Tell them where to find you, James.
The James Donald Forbes McCann Catamaran Plan.
The pamphlets are going around.
Someone's done a new pamphlet as well. Lovely. That man who does all the free... I've got to give him a
Zach
shout
Woomer?
out. Zach Woomer.
Yeah, he painted
a
me.
new pamphlet.
Yeah.
And he just does great free work for everybody.
I never use his stuff. He did a painting of me. I bought a Norm painting. I bought his Norm painting of the Harlequin clowns. I bought his Norm. I have it in my home.
What is this syncopated burping?
Yeah, what's happening here? Our cycles are locking up.
My thumbnail for my podcast, I used to have a different one, which I also liked, but then I use his now because it was great. What was I saying?
I was plugging your
Catamaran Plan pamphlet's out now.
Yeah.
Smooth Dolphin, the Chinese language hit single. That's on YouTube. It's doing very badly. And
you're filming a special.
At some point, I have to film a special.
Yep.
I don't know how. I've got the man that I really want to film it, and he's in Australia until December. And I could film it in December, but I need to book shows.
Why don't you film it in fucking Australia, dummy?
I did film a crowd work special in Australia.
Okay.
Called Crowd Pleasure. The name came first, obviously, and it's just bad crowd work for what I hope is an hour and 20 minutes.
An hour and 20 of bad crowd work.
Just the worst crowd work I could do. It would be like, hey, who are you?
Yeah.
You know? Let me do it.
Okay.
Who are you?
My name is Max.
No, not your name. Who are you really?
Max Jefferson.
Come on, deep down. Who are you?
I guess I'm a son and a husband.
You're defined by your relationships with other people. We put you on a desert island, you disappear. But who are we without the relationship, you know? I think you've said something very wise. I thank you. It's just that.
Awesome.
Okay.
And where are you putting that? In the trash, I hope. Now,
we'll get it done.
Also, I'll say this. If you want to watch exciting comedy, Houston, you're going to Houston. You're going where else?
Going to a church basement in Tulsa. I'm going to be in a church basement in Tulsa.
So you're still an alt guy?
They asked, and I was on my way back from your comedy festival.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be at my comedy festival.
I was going to bring my family and Airbnb, but they will have just travelled back a week prior, and I don't think I'm keen to travel again. And so I wanted even though I said I didn't want a place to stay.
Yeah.
Okay, I still have a place
Of course,
to stay.
yeah.
All right, great.
Hopefully
I'll
you'll
have to send
stay
an
with me
email.
and Lund and Pat.
That would be really great.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah,
Also, I'm doing a Houston.
Yeah, at the secret group, I was just
October
there.
13.
I sold out 2. Sell out 2 for James. He's one of the most exciting, just propulsive performers, and I admire you on and off stage, but I see so much bad comedy, James, and watching you this fucking weekend open the show.
Makes those bad comedians look good, and that raises your feeling of what's possible in the world.
No, man, this guy's he's just one of my favorite people.
Well,
So
that's very nice. You've made me
support
very
him in every
uncomfortable.
way possible, and I love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.